if you're working on servicing a featherweight, I'm sure you guys already know this if you're featherweight aficionados. The featherweight shop sells these, well, they call them a refill kit to their service kit. And I've never bought their actual service kit. I don't think there's anything in there that I would need aside the items that are in the refill. But thought I'd point this out. In the refill kit, you get the self-adhesive felt for the inside of the bottom of the tray. And as you can see, this one's pretty nasty. You get a maintenance logbook. I don't know anybody who has ever used this. You get these little cleaning swab things, which I probably have 40 million of them that I never use, but that's okay. They give you an LED and a super belt. And amongst other things, inside this little rick-rack wrapped package is 4 machine feet, 4 controller feet, and a little Bo Diddley that goes onto the thumb screw that holds the end cover on to prevent scratching up the fold-down bed. So yeah, it's like 40 bucks, something like that. Usually, I mean, it's been on perpetual sale since forever for like $40. You know, it's fine. I mean, personally, these are the only items that I question the value of, but some people like it. So yeah, I use a lot of these kits. I buy them in bulk when I'm going to be doing a featherweight maintenance class, because honestly, it's easier for me just to throw one of those kits in everybody's goodie bag, as well as the screwdriver kits and everything that we provide. So it makes for a much nicer package. It's a little bit more expensive for me to do it that way versus just, I could probably source the felts cheaper, but it's hard to find, other than the featherweight shop, it's difficult to find these rubber feet for the controllers. So yeah, there is value to doing it this way. And like I said, I use a lot of these kits. But it's amazing how horrible these feet can be sometimes, the originals, and the difference in how comfortable the machine is to work with, you know, as in sewing, when it's got new feet under it. Likewise, the foot controller. Now, the foot controller for this machine, I have already put new feet under it, because I also buy the foot controller feet separately, because I service a lot of Singer foot controllers. But anyway, yeah. So these 4 feet here that came with this kit, I'm not going to use them because I already put new feet in from my other stocks while I was waiting for this kit to arrive. But oops, come on, get back up there. Getting the old cruddy feet out of these can sometimes be a bit of a challenge. Sometimes the rubber gets so badly perished that it just turns to goo. Sometimes these things flatten out, something fierce, and like you're never going to get that screw out without a little bit of extra effort. So, but yeah, the kit from the featherweight shop, like I said, I use a lot of them. I know some people that don't, but I buy LEDs from another source that I use on other machines, simply because I don't have a quote-unquote kit for it. And I do buy different belts for featherweights if I just need a belt, or if I have a customer that doesn't like the super belt. And some people don't like these. I think they're fine. Some people don't like them. I get these belts I believe this was an Amazon purchase. I'd have to look. But, yeah, I keep a quantity of those on hand at all times, too. But, yeah. Ugh. Oh, God, this one's gross. This one's not wanting to peel off. There we go. Yeah, this is going to have to go to the sink. This one is very vile, and it's not coming off very well. You can see how cruddy this is underneath. This is just super saturated with old oil. Ugh. Okay. Okay, I got this all clean, and I took it to the kitchen sink and I scrubbed it down with a some hot water and a Scotch-Brite pad as well. How I put these on is I get them in position, because these things are very, very sticky. I get these in position on this end, and then I just peel back the paper, and it fits right on in. Okay, I want to show you how the timing marks and the timing relationship between the needle and the hook works on a featherweight. This is like the most difficult thing to show on this because there's so much real shiny stuff here. We get all sorts of glare, plus everything's really small. Anyway, we have the linkage, the connecting rod linkage for the needle bar. We have it at its full extended position. As you can see, well, you might be able to see, hopefully you can see, it's down behind all back here. This connecting rod here is at its lowest point. The needle bar is at its lowest point in travel. With the linkages set that way, we want the upper mark that is engraved on the needle bar to be level with the base of the bushing. Now, if nobody has messed with this bushing, it's fine. There is a procedure if somebody has taken the bushing out for setting everything up, and it's beyond the scope of what we're going to do now. Suffice it to say that on my website, and I'll have a link to it down below, I've got a copy of the adjuster's manual for the 221-1, and it's got all the information you could possibly need on setting up the timing, but this is just to show you on video, and I'll talk you through it. So anyway, with the linkages and everything at the bottom dead center of travel, we want that upper mark on the needle bar to be even with the bottom of that bushing. Now, as we advance the balance wheel in the direction of sewing, so that the lower mark evens up with the bottom of the bushing, I'm going to move the camera in just a second. That is when we want to be seeing the point of the hook being even with the needle. Let me readjust the camera and I'll show you what that looks like. Okay, we haven't moved anything. I've got the little tab for the that engages in the needle plate here. That's the little tab that engages here. Got that out of the way so you can see a little better. So now with the needle bar raised so that that mark is even with the bottom of the bushing, we can see that the point of the hook is even with the shaft of the needle. Now, what we will know if our needle bar height is correct if the point of the hook is approximately 1/16 of an inch above the top of the eye of the needle. Now, Singer specifies to use a number 14 needle when making these adjustments. That's kind of important. If you use a needle that's too small, you will have issues if you go to a different size needle. So do it with a number 14. Don't do it with a 16 or an 18. Do it what Singer says with a 14. Now, I mentioned when we were talking about the hook that another measurement we want to make is the distance between the point of the hook and the needle itself. Now, Singer calls for 5/1000ths of an inch, and I have here a 5/1000ths of an inch feeler gauge. And I'm going to lay that against the needle and slide it in, and I feel just the tiniest amount of contact with the hook. If I go to a larger feeler gauge here, I'll take a, we're going to go up just, well, we'll go up 2 thou to 7 thou here. 7 thou doesn't want to go in. 7 thou is pushing. If we go to 6 thou, here's the 6/1000ths. 6/1000ths going in there, but it's just dragging really heavy. So I've got it at 5/1000ths. So I'm happy with that setting. You really shouldn't need to make an adjustment on this, and that would be made by loosening the set screws and sliding the hook fore and aft on the shaft. Keep in mind the set screw that's adjacent to the side of the hook, or it's the same side of the hook where the point of the hook is. That's the one that's riding in the flat. There's a little bit of adjustment wiggle room there. Usually, and I'm just saying usually, if you push the hook all the way back against the bushing that that the hook shaft is riding on, and then tighten the set screw, usually that's going to get you right where you need to be, because unless somebody has messed with the settings for the counterweight in the back of the on the other side of that bushing, or messed with the gears on the hook shaft, this is something that generally is not an issue. Now, timing, like I said, is usually not a problem on featherweights. Very rarely have I ever seen these things with a timing issue. But I also mentioned you don't adjust the timing here at these set screws. Let me show you where that's done. The gear on the hook shaft itself that engages with the vertical shaft has 2 set screws. These are the set screws that you would loosen if you needed to adjust the timing. Once again, the procedure is completely laid out in the service manual, the adjuster's manual that is on my website. There, as I mentioned, will be a link down below. Don't think that you can adjust the timing of the hook by adjusting it at the hook. It has to be adjusted back here because of the flats on the hook shaft at the hook end. It's that simple. Well, there you have it. Those are the hook adjustments as well as the clearance measurements you need to make at the hook area on a featherweight. I'm going to try to keep this video a little short. I'd like to get this posted before I have to go to work this afternoon. So anyway, that's what I've got for you on this one. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you on the next video. Grace, what are you doing? Gracie. Hi, sweetie. Yeah, you're a good girl. You're a good girl. You're a good kitty. Hey, Grace. What you doing over there, honey? What you doing? You're a good kitty. Yes, you are. You're a big help. You're a good helper. Alright, can I go edit this video now? Thank you.